Wood. Wood.
I understand you have underwear up your ass right now, but it beats the hell out of a shattered skull.
Alright, episode 2. Now, in my previous review, I said I hope that they don't do what The Walking Dead would do, which is just focus on one character or one small group for an entire episode. So the way this episode started off, I was kind of worried about that.
That's what we came for?
Doesn't matter. Pack it up and report to the Vertibird.
On top of that, admittedly, I don't like Kmart Finn. So I'm mostly going to have a negative bias in his scenes, and they're not going to sell me on him being on some kind of badass. No matter how he pulls things off, and this is not a badass face that's going to make me believe it. But I will give credit to the character arc. I think they are mapping it out and executing it really well. I'm assuming he's going to start sliding further and further into the dark side, so to speak. And I think that they are executing that really well. But who the fuck is this chick to be all judgy and giving him that look from the sidelines? She sabotaged herself to, stay back in the base because she didn't want to be sent out so she could take hormones for her mustache or whatever. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure he's still going to have a conscience. I don't think he's going to become purely evil, but I can see him shifting that way of just doing what needs to be done. Maybe gets power hungry. All of that is pretty interesting to me as the character, but again, I just don't like this actor. Maybe he's just too goober. He's got too much of a goober face. But one thing I think this show does well is the character arcs, because as we see with Lucy here, I knew she was going to do this, and at the time it did piss me off.
I only have one. Please.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
But I understand that that is her character, and I see where it's going to lead to. She's going to become more and more badass, not slip into the dark side, I would say, but she's going to come to grips. She has to do what needs to be done in this world. I think that's where they're leading with this, and she's going to probably learn a hard lesson now with the Caesar guys. Because what I remember from the games, which isn't much admittedly, it's vague, but Caesar's Legion was more of a hard-nosed, tyrannical, real tough, involved in slavery, and just ruled with a heavy hand, or they tried to. That was what the idea was. So I think she's going to learn like a hard-nosed lesson here, and I like that. I like that as part of the character arc. She still stayed true to her golly whiz, good-hearted, and evaluated the situation from her perspective, and gave the stim pack to the chick in the tunic. So that leading to this situation, so she understands that even her good decisions will lead to consequences, which you'd think by now she would really start to be picking up on that. But I think if they execute this arc by the end of this season, and like I said in the previous review, where she was shooting all the Elvis guys' heads off, no problem, I think she is going to become tougher. And we saw that scene where she was using that power fist. I think she'll come around. So, and this happening early in the season, I think is good too. So hopefully, again, I am giving credit to the character arcs. I am completely ignorant on the Shady Sands stuff. I remember the conversations from the previous season, how they messed up the lore. So I totally get that now it's official that the lore is obliterated. Why people would be upset with this show. I didn't care that much about the lore. I'm just going from just a nerdy guy that enjoyed the games, wasn't too invested in the story, and just evaluating the show as is. And I'm entertained. I'm enjoying it. But I totally get that this would be... It was pretty ballsy of them to do, if you think about it, to change it this much. So we'll see what they do. But if I was a hardcore Fallout fan, I would probably be pretty annoyed by all of this. But as for where I stand, it doesn't bother me, but I won't argue with anybody that it does ruin it for them. And I'm not going to argue for the show. I'm not going to try to justify anything. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, and I totally get if you aren't, to be honest. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm having fun with the show.
Yosemite from Coronado. It's been decades since we gathered to renew our shared and noble purpose.
As far as this Civil War is concerned, I mean, it is intriguing seeing a bunch of power armors battling each other. I'm hoping the Enclave gets involved. I'm hoping that that's what that voice was in the one of the trailers. I thought maybe it was a super mutant, but somebody commented something and brought up a character. I can't remember what they said. Some kind of Secret Service agent or something, but he died in Fallout 2. But he said that the voice was the same. So, but if they're changing lore, it might be related to that. So the Enclave would be kind of cool to see them come in. I want to see how they do with their power armor. I think the aesthetics of the show, I think the power armors look pretty cool. I definitely don't like the goofy shit that they're having these guys be. I mean, how many total Magoos can we have in this universe that all these Magoos survived? It's just, I don't know. I do see humor in it, or I mean, I don't find it funny, but I do see the humor angle that they're going for. But I want a little bit more hard-nosed stuff. I want more alpha guys. I want more, hardcore, like space marine type dudes, That's more of what I'm into. But either way, I think that the power armor looks great. I'm curious to see if the Enclave is involved, how that will look. This episode wasn't that great. It wasn't horrible. I think we're back to just 7 days. This was 8 days in between, I believe. And I think we're going back to the 7-day release for the new episode. So I'm still curious to see how this goes. I'm enjoying myself for the most part. I mean, there's not much else going on as far as shows go. The other shows I'm reviewing are Mayor of Kingstown. That's about to end this weekend. And Landman, which I'm starting to turn on. And then there's this show. So I'll have to find another show, I guess. Or maybe some movies. But either way, those are my thoughts on the show. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thanks for stopping by.